Hello and welcome to the Footballers Mindset Podcast. I'm Rob Blackburn. Thank you for listening. And today I've got with me my good friend Scott Shearer. I've told him today that he has to keep his head on. He's not allowed to swear, so no swearing, all right, mate?
Fuck you.
Oh no, I've got to put the explicit thing on now.
Yeah,
I'm only joking.
You've gave me carte blanche.
Huh?
You gave me carte blanche. Said that I can do what I want.
Yeah, no, you can do what you want. How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you.
What's been going on? Tell us what's been going on. So Scott used to be a goalkeeper. He's retired now, aren't you? Ish.
No.
No,
Yeah,
go on,
no,
tell
like-
us,
like you're
tell us
saying.
a bit about your story. Where have you been? Who have you played for? Because people might not know about you. So tell us a little bit of where have you been, your story, who you've played for, how many appearances you've had, etc., etc.
So, started in Scotland with Albion Rovers, had 3 seasons there, and then got really lucky. Got a move down to Coventry back in 2003. And then I've been a bit of a traveller, to be fair. I've just been at nearly every club in the Football League since. Gone up and down the country, Bristol Rovers, Rotherham, Crewe, Button, loads of clubs. And just finished at Oxford there. Had 2 good years at Oxford. And looking to go into more of the coaching side of things with Oxford, maybe getting into do the 23s and 18s. And yeah, winding down, I want to just keep playing a little bit, have a bit of fun. Still want to keep going, so maybe look for something part-time, and then the longer term is finding the next career that I want to choose.
What is the next career you want to choose? What is it? Have you thought about it?
Yeah, so I'm studying to be a financial advisor. So
Yeah.
that's my long term. So obviously I've set up a goalkeeping academy. I do enjoy the coaching side of things. I think you get a lot out of younger kids rather than first team players. So prefer that, to be honest. And that's the sort of bit that's just going to tick me over the now, and then the long term, like I said, is to get into the next career.
So what club did you enjoy playing for most and why?
Depends what you're asking about, like success or dressing room.
Everything. Go on. Success.
I think everything, to be honest, would be the first season I had at Crawley.
Yeah.
Went there in the January, I think it was 2011. Yeah. And when I say to you, it was a team of fucking nut jobs.
Yeah.
Every day we were following ambulances down the M25 just to beat the traffic. And we'd get in, there'd be something going on every day. But surprisingly, we were like the most successful team around. I think we got the most points in the conference in history and all that. And we won the league, played Man U at Old Trafford in the 5th round of the FA Cup. It was a really successful season, but I think that was emphasised by the team spirit we had.
And who is that? The most banter you've had? The best team with the best banter?
Yeah.
Got any stories?
There are
careful.
loads. So just a starter, right? I came into the dressing room, and obviously when you come into the dressing room, for the rest of the people who have been involved in football know you sort of just bed yourself in a little bit. So I knew a few of the lads already, bedded myself in, but one of the lads that was there already, a lad called Richard Brodie, right? He was from Gateshead, I think. Chirpy little bastard, and he kept getting on my case. And I think this was 3 days in a row he's getting on my case, and I was like, I need to like put a marker down on him. So I waited for him to go to training in somebody else's car, and I got one of my mates to come and video me taking a shit in a plastic bag. Right? It was like a fucking horse shit. Stinking. And David Hunt was the lad that done the video. He would verify that, because I think he threw up outside the car. So I went into his car, placed it under his car seat, put the seat back, locked his door, put his keys back in his pocket. We were out for maybe 4 hours training. That's been sitting in his car, bag opened. He came out to training, we videoed it again. And he fucking opened the door, and I swear to God, it was like somebody uppercutted him. He jumped back, started being sick in the car park. And then, obviously, I went up and told him that it was me and that if he keeps continuing it, then it's going to get worse.
Did he continue or not?
He did, right?
Yeah, go on.
And then there was another story where we were travelling up to, I don't know where it was, but Brodie, again, was one of the ones that would take anything if it was going. So if you had a packet of crisps or a fucking sweet or whatever, he would always want something off you. So Hunty had a packet of yogurt-covered nuts, right? And he had one left, and he said to me, "Oh, do you want that?" And I said, "No, but I've got an idea." I said, "Give me that." And they were fucking like Brazil nuts, right?
Hold on. Before you go, did you put it somewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's went somewhere.
Yeah.
Came back out.
Oh, no.
So went back into the bag.
No.
And then we went up, we've played the game with him. So we went to another lad, Cal McFadzean. We've done a contest with the two of them. We've made it so Brodie wins. And Brodie wins, yams it down, like eating away, chewing away, and everybody knows. And he's like, "Oh, is that good, bro?" "Yeah, it's lovely, yeah." And I went, so I just pulled my pants down. And just around my bullet was just all the yogurt.
No. Mate.
And that stopped him.
That was the end.
Yeah, that was the end of Brodie, to be fair. He crumbled after that.
So if you're listening, I don't know if you can tell, but Shearer is a bit of a lad when it comes to the changing rooms. And if actually when I went through my WhatsApp messages today, I went through images and I was like, oh dear. And I was like, oh no, I've got him on the podcast. Oh dear. But as you said, like, Shearer's one of the funniest blokes I know. But there is another side to you as well. Like, we're going to be honest. So, like, when you're playing football, what happened to you? Like, because you do have the exterior, the banter, the laughs, like, funniest geezer I know. But did you struggle?
Massively. Like, the people who are close to me, I've spoke to you in depth about it.
Yeah.
We know that. But, you know, there was a period of probably about 4 years where I was deep in depression and going in every day with just a mask on, pretending to everyone that I was okay. Was
this a part of the mask? Like, doing all this, like, the outside banter? Or was it like a release to forget about it?
It was a release.
Yeah.
It was like, I got in, obviously everything that went on outside of football and stuff that was happening in football, like, you know, bad injuries and fucking out of contract and having a young family and not know where I was going to be, and like other things happened. But coming into football was that release. It was like getting them endorphins out from training, being able to just not give a fuck about what's going on in life. Do you know what I mean? But then as soon as I jumped in that car again, I'd done a lot of commuting, and that was a big problem for me because I was on my own. So my own thoughts were just fucking trying to kill me.
Yeah. So how did it start? What was the trigger? Do you know? How old were you, and when did it start? How old?
So it started just around about the time I joined Crawley, I think. So I went to Wrexham, had 6 months, and then had to move again. And so all the moving house and everything as well just used to fuck my head up because I couldn't get settled. Moved back down, joined Crawley, had a really good 4 months. That was the first season, 4 months, January to April. And then it was the next season. It was that season 11-12. I think that's when it really... I think there was maybe previous parts throughout my career, you know, because of the ups and downs of football. I think there was little bits that were creeping in. I just didn't know it was there. And then that season, so much fucking happened. It was like, Jesus Christ, my ex-girlfriend got pregnant, and that was tough. Then my mother nearly died in front of me. Then I had to move house again with a young family. My ex was like pregnant at the time. She didn't settle. It made it fucking a nightmare. I was commuting like 4 hours a day.
Where was you living at the time?
I was living in... So when I moved to Rotherham at that point.
Yeah.
And I moved to a place where I had a house in Leicester. And I was commuting from Leicester to Rotherham every day, there and back. And then I got injuries. You know, I tore my ACL. I chipped a big bit of bone off my elbow. So for a good for a good year, it was just chip away, chip away, chip away. And, you know, as a man as well, you always think, I've got to look after my family. I've got to be the protector as such.
And the provider.
And I just didn't fucking think about myself, to be honest. And I just crumbled. And then it came to the point where obviously started thinking about topping myself. And then I thought, what the fuck am I doing here? And I broke down to my ex at the time, and then went through all the procedures, and first of all went on to tablets and stuff. Didn't like that. I thought, no, I'm better than that. I can do this like myself. And then that was that. And then I
so
thought
how far was you in? Do you know you said you actually thought about killing yourself?
Yeah.
Like, where was you when that happened? Do you remember the time it happened?
Yeah, it was on the M1 North. There was a few times, and it was usually when I was on my own, and my thoughts were just fucking eating away in my head. So I was driving, and I was just kept thinking, I'm going to fucking drive into the central reservation, or I'm going to drive off the fucking side of the motorway where there's a massive ditch at 70, 80 mile an hour. And I was like, I've had enough. Like, I can't keep doing this to myself. And then I'd always have to pull into the services, cry my fucking eyes out, get myself together, go to work, and pretend everything was all right. And then I'd have the exact fucking same on the way home.
Did anyone know? Could anyone tell at football?
No. And that's how I've said to you before. I've always wanted to sort of say something about what I went through because, but just the fact that so many people have come out and spoke about it, I think it's getting spoke about more, which is good. And I didn't want people to I didn't want it to come across like, oh, I'm just jumping on a bandwagon. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of that, I wanted to come out and like this and just say that fucking hell, I was in deep, because at that point when I was at Rotherham, I guarantee you, not one player, not one person would have thought I was fucking struggling. And
the thing is, you was having two different personalities. You was like a Scot at home and then a Scot at football, and you was, it's the bullshit, like the bullshit, and then the bullshit gets on top of you as well, right?
Of course, yeah. Everything, like the smallest thing then becomes the biggest problem. When you're in that mindset, it's like fucking couldn't sleep. That was another big thing. So we'd literally wake up at 2 a.m. Fucking, that was me. So it's probably surviving on 3 hours sleep a night maximum,
which makes it 100 times worse.
Definitely.
So what symptoms and stuff were you experiencing? Like what kind of thoughts and feelings did you have, and how did you feel? Did you have anxiety? Was you worrying? Palpitations? What was?
I would wake up through the night with like a real anxiety attacks. Yeah. And my biggest thing was, am I good enough to do something else? Am I good enough to be anything else after football? What am I going to do? Like, fucking hell, I've got a family to provide for. What else can I do? And at this time, I'm only fucking 30, 31, 32.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I just kept thinking, I can't do it. I can't fucking provide for them. And even the thoughts in my head started going, well, if I taught myself or whatever, they might get the insurance payouts. And then they're all right. And they don't need to deal with me being... Because it fucking done my family life in as well, because I was like, really fucking like shouting at the kids, real short fuse, even with my kids. And that's, I think when I said to myself that's enough is when, I'll never forget it, it was through the night, my youngest woke up screaming.
Yeah.
She wouldn't stop, and I fucking lost the plot. And I remember to this day, I got up and I shouted to basically shut her the fuck up, right, to my ex, which made her cry, the baby's crying, and then my oldest daughter was fucking sobbing as well. And I remember going, what the fuck, what's going on here? Like, so many things just kept making me feel, nah, you can't keep going on with this. You're either going to fucking just end it, or, you know, you can fucking beat it.
A good question. I know it's a deep subject, but like, why didn't you? What stopped you doing it?
I don't know. I don't honestly know. Deep down, most probably was my kids.
Yeah.
Even when I was having them thoughts about insurance payouts and stuff like that, They were the thought behind that. It was like, well, my kids are then going to be financially good. You know, they're going to have a good start in life. So it was always about my kids.
Did you ever talk to anybody when you was going through the bad times? Did you ever talk to anyone about it, or not at all? Did you hide it? Like you said, you was like upset at home and stuff with your ex. Did you ever speak about it or what you was going through? Did you ever open up, or did you just hide everything and mask everything?
No, because so in my head I'm sitting going, she's got enough on her plate. She's got she's got a baby, newborn baby, 4-year-old. She doesn't need to fucking put my shit. I can't put my shit on her plate. And I think that's what a lot of people do when they're going through stuff like that. They think they can't tell people. They think they're being a burden by telling people. Where it's the total fucking opposite.
But what she probably thought, and what happens is, not just with you, but other people think it's them. They're like, I'm pissing them off, or this is my fault, and they blame themselves, and really it's nothing to do with them, it's all you. So they're taking it all on and going, well, I must be really bad, or I'm pissing him off, or he's doing this and this and this, and then it's building up on them, and then you're at two opposite ends, even though it's about you, and you're just not saying anything. How did you...
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think that's how eventually my relationship broke down with that. And I think that was the reason why, because if you can't open up about something like that, then I mean, eventually I did. I think eventually, to be fair, she probably saved me, because she was the one that said, "You're not fucking right," and that's when I went to see a doctor and stuff. But then I pretended I was okay still.
To the doctors?
No, I went on tablets for 6 months, and I thought, right, that's me, I'm done.
What did they give you?
Is it citalopram?
Is that an antidepressant?
Yeah.
How did you find that?
I don't feel like done fucking anything.
That's the thing. When you go to doctors, like, nothing at football club. You still away from football. You didn't say anything at all.
No,
you hid it completely.
Yeah.
Why was that?
Probably the whole stigma of people will look at me as being weak. Do you know what I mean? Because I was this big persona in a dressing room, like one of the large characters, the team.
A leader.
Yeah, and if I turn around and say, lads, I'm fucked here, then I in your head you think they're going to think a certain way of me.
If you went back now, would you say something?
Fucking hindsight, Rob. Fuck me. Of course I would.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I put myself through at least 4 or 5 years of fucking hell because I didn't speak. Because
people are listening to this now, because I've had loads of messages, and they're going to be... Some people are going to have through the same thing. This is not just about how you think on a football pitch. Sometimes it's the deeper issues which like you're struggling with, and we've got... Like I did record with Grant Hall, and he'd tell you his story of how he went into the office with Steve McLaren and Les Ferdinand, and he just got triggered, and that was it. He was gone. And people are struggling with this, and they don't want to say anything. But as you said, hindsight's a wonderful thing. So if we can prevent it and go, do you know what? Like, if you start speaking to people are going to see you as a more of a leader. And you're going, do you know what? I'm struggling too. And then people might come to you and go, do you know what? Do you know what I am as well? Because in football, it is all masks. It is all ego. Yeah. It is all like you have to act up to the crowd, and like everyone's like the way I say it is like everyone. If you think everyone's going to judge you, it's not. It's you. You're judging you, and you're judging them.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. And it's always about your own personal view of yourself, and that comes across. So if I was always pissed off with myself, but then, like you said, I would take that out on the closest to me.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And make them feel like it was them. Because it would give me a small bit of fucking relief. Like, it made me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, we all do stuff to make us... Like I say this all the time. So it's this saying I've got, is people doing the best that they can for themselves at that time to make themselves feel better. Yeah. That's all it is. It's about them making themselves. It's not about you. So if someone's taking stuff out on you, it's not a lot of the time. It's not about you. It's making them feel better, and you did that to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
So when you went to the doctors, you was going through. So you went to the doctors. They put you on pills. six months. What was happening? Like, did anything change, or was you like,
I was just putting another mask on, to be honest, because I never really dealt with what was going on in my head. Like the doctors at the time, to be fair, the doctor at the time, she was brilliant. She was an ex-club doctor in mine, and I trusted her, and I went down, I spoke to her and stuff, but, you know, she was just talking about changing the chemicals in my brain to, like, lift my mood a little bit, but it was fucking deeper than that. Do you know what I mean? And then I did open up. You know Moose, my best mate.
Yeah.
So I was at Mansfield at the time, and again, I was commuting from Marlow up to Mansfield nearly every day, which was 2.5, 3 hours each way.
Yeah.
So I'd stay at Moose's one night, go for a coffee, and then one day we were just chatting about nothing, and I just came out with it. I was like, I'm fucked. And Moose is part of the PFA and all of that, and straight away got onto Mickey Bennett, and that was it. And I went to start speaking to someone, and I found it good, but I didn't find it was the answer, because I wanted somebody to fucking go deep within me to fucking like pull all the shit out.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that happened.
So you just talk on a superficial level about what you was dealing with.
Yeah. And it was like, yeah. To be fair, I mean, yeah. But I think for sportsmen, I think we're a fucked up breed.
Yeah.
I think we are.
It's hard. It's hard, mate, because you're in that bubble. As I said to Grant the other day, you get battered on social. Imagine someone going to a job. You've got social media, and you're sitting around an office, and everyone's going, "You're shit, you're crap, you're crap, you're crap." And then on social media, they're going, "You're terrible, you're terrible." And then you go, "Do you know what? I'm gonna go for a night out to get away from it." And everyone's going, "You're shit, you're shit." And
pretty much my life.
But you get paid money for what you're doing, what you love, so it's fine. You should deal with it.
Yeah. Fucking bollocks.
Yeah.
Absolute bollocks. I fucking hate people that say that.
That's what everyone says that. All the fans say that, but they don't understand. It's a job. It's work. It's work. It's a job.
But see those people, right, who fucking say that, they're the lazy bastards who, when they were younger, they didn't fucking stick at football like we did. Do you know what I mean? So when it was easy to give up, so from 8 years old, nearly every footballer's dedicated their fucking life to football. Dedicated, because you need to be. The people that don't make it are the ones that don't fucking dedicate themselves. End of. And then, again, like you've just said, to make themselves feel better, maybe the ones that haven't fucking been able to do it, the next best thing is, I'm going to fucking abuse them.
Did you get when you was playing, when you was going through your worst time, was you getting any abuse?
Fucking hell, yeah. Loads. I was so up and down. Still, but to be fair, we were fucking doing really well as a team, and I was doing well, but deep down I knew I had a lot more, and I could have pushed on if I'd fucking dealt with my problems. Could have really pushed on, but and the funny thing is when you're there, you can get man of the match, yeah. But there'll be one thing in the game that you've done, maybe just one thing, even if it's like a kick or a fucking pass or something. Straight away, your brain goes back to that and goes, "Fucking hell, you should have done better there." You're always thinking negatively. You're always thinking, "Should have done better." Never mind the 99%, which was fucking spot on. So as well with that, with the crowds, that for me personally, it didn't matter if 10,000 of the crowd were cheering my name, saying you're fucking amazing. That one person that was saying I was shit, I could hear him.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're going through that. You focus on the negative, not the positive. You listen to the bad voice, and the bad voice in your head, the one negative thought, and the internal voice that's going, "Oh, you should," and then you keep yourself awake going, "Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I do this? Why did I say that?" And everyone does this, but the thing is, everyone's in the same position. Every time you make mistakes, like, I could have done better. Like, in a better frame of mind, when you was in a better frame of mind, how did you deal with that one mistake, or did you just it just passed? It didn't matter. Or has it always been in you?
It always mattered to me if it was a genuine mistake, like I've fucked up, then yeah. If it was like as a goalkeeper, if it was technical, then I'd be really pissed off, because that's something you work on day in, day out, and it's like positioning or something like that. Yeah, but if it's one of them ones that's happened loads, it's fucking went through my hands or something, you know, I've just been lazy with something, then shit like that happens.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't beat myself too much up about that. The older I got, I wouldn't beat myself up too much, because I'd learned how to control my emotions a bit more. But yeah, I think it's always been in me a little bit.
So how do you deal with things now? Like, where are you now compared to where you was?
Fucking like night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still in me. I don't think you fully get rid of it. You know, there's days where I have really down days, but then I know when I'm feeling like that, I'll literally just get my gym stuff. I'll go to the gym. I'll do something that makes me happy. So I'll go to the gym, or I'll fucking go for a bike ride, or I'll go and play golf, or, you know, do something, or I'll go out with my kids, you know, take them somewhere, and we have a fun day, and I smile and I laugh, and then it changes my whole fucking process in my head.
Do you remember a time when you was like, do you know what, I'm actually getting there now? What happened? So you talked to the PFA geezer. What happened after that?
So I had like 12 sessions with him. And then again, like, because of the person that I am, I'm always thinking, I can fucking do this. Like, I've always I like challenging myself. So then obviously I went on this is when I spoke to you as well, and I opened up to you, and you helped me loads with it, and you gave me loads of books to read. And I was so instead of listening to the radio, I started listening to audibles. So a lot of self-help books, just to try to make me understand how my brain's working.
What was the best one you listened to? What was your favourite one?
The one that you said to me, Loving What Is.
I say that every time. Every time. You need to listen to it. You need to listen to it to get it, because it's all... Listen, your thoughts are all projected bullshit.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit. It's like when I was listening to you then, I should have done that. Or is that... You ask yourself, it's just asking, is it true? I should have done that.
Is that true?
Did you? No. It's like dealing with reality the whole time. Like, and it really works. I remember the time that I got it, right? So the time that I got it and it clicked for me, I was with my missus on the way to, like, someone got me corporate tickets. She's a massive Everton fan. So we had Everton v Swansea, corporate at Swansea, and she's got her keys. It was at a time where there was no, like, it wasn't automatic. She'd lock in the actual keys. She threw the keys in the boot and she shut the door. And I went, and it went through my head like this, and it went, she shouldn't have locked the keys in the boot. Is that true? and in the process, because that was when I got it, I was like, because I was going through my own, like, everyone knows my story when I went through the shit with my mate dying and my mum getting breast cancer, and that's, you shouldn't have locked the keys in the boot. Is that true? With the keys are locked in the boot beforehand, I would have gone, you stupid cow, why did you shut the... And we would have spent an hour arguing about these keys being locked, shouldn't have been locked in the boot, but they're already in there. There's nothing I can do about it. So in the process, I asked 4 questions, and there's 4 questions you listen to that book. Is it true? Are you sure it's true? How do you feel when you think that thought? How do you feel without the thought? Turn it around. So that's 5. Good counting. But normally, is it true? And if you say yes, it's true, then you ask, is it really true? So, like, she shouldn't have shut her keys in the boot. Is that true? Well, no, it's not true. She shouldn't have kicked. But you can only deal with reality. Yeah. That's the point of it. Like, did it start clicking for you like it did for me? And in that moment where she shut the keys in the boot, within 5 seconds, I had my phone out and I Googled locksmiths in the area. 20 minutes later, a locksmith come out, opened the door, done. And I was like,
job done.
I've got, and my voice, my head changed, and it was like, do you know what, I've got this. I've got this now. Like, I've done it.
I mean, for me, I started doing a lot of yoga, a lot of meditating, plus reading a lot of self-help books. So just understanding, like, obviously just little things like, you know, I used to be a person that would get fucking road rage every day. Yeah. To the case where I've come off the M1 at times, and me and another guy have had a fight in the car park at services because he was in the lane too long. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was little things like that I noticed for me. I'd be driving and somebody would do something fucking stupid in front of me, and it would just be a case of, oh well.
But that was to offset your, like, because you're going through, that was to get rid of your emotions, right? To, like, release your emotions. You're like, do you know what, that's a big release for me, and it's something that will make you feel better.
Yeah. So it's like I said...
Or get into a fight with someone. Do you ever get into any like, fights? Like, during training or anything like that, did you get into any rucks or punch-ups? Not punch-ups, but, like...
Yeah, loads, yeah. And it would be over something stupid, like... you should have saved that. Fuck you. You should have fucking closed it down.
Yeah.
You're a cunt. Right, let's go. Do you know what I mean? It'd be really daft things. And again, I think as I've got older, like, I've just calmed down a lot. Really calmed down a lot. Like, obviously, when I'm on the pitch, it's different. When I'm on the training pitch, it's different because that's me and that's who I am. But then the people that have played with me, well, I hope that they would fucking turn around and say, off the pitch, you know, I try and help people. I try and do as much as I can to help people. But that's just me on the pitch, and I'm never going to change for anybody like that because I think that's effective for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I noticed myself just calming down a lot more, like not letting my anger go from 1 to 10. It was just like you're saying, right? He should have turned his indicator on earlier. Is that true? Yeah. So and you start doing it, and it's like, well, I'm not going to fucking piss myself off, and like the next half hour of my fucking life's going to be shit because of that.
But it is. Like, as a professional, right? You need to preserve your energy. Yeah. So I say this to everyone every time. You need to preserve as much energy as you can. Like, you're letting that take your energy. And then all your mental energy is being taken by that. By the time you get onto the football pitch or you get to training, you're screwed. Yeah. It's about, as you got older, your emotional intelligence got higher. And you was like, do you know what? Emotional intelligence is massive. It's how do you deal with your emotions and how do you take responsibility for your emotions? Because they're your emotions and you have to deal with it and take responsibility for it. Yeah. They're up to you. Rather than blaming it on everyone else, you made me feel like this. No one can make you feel like anything. Really. You're making yourself feel like that. And then I always say, listen, take the word responsibility. They're like, no, I shouldn't take responsibility. Like, the word responsibility, able to respond. Yeah. Take the word. You can how can you respond differently? You have a situation. How can you respond differently to that situation where beforehand the indicator went off, you lost your head, and then you lose. It might make you feel better for like 10 seconds. Yeah. But you've lost. It's like having an argument with. If you get into an argument with Mrs. out who's wrong or right, it doesn't matter. You've lost. You've lost. You're always losing. You're always going, how can I preserve my energy? How can I... What do I want? Like, the question is, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Ask yourself that question. What do I want? Do I want to stay calm? Like, what do I want? I don't want to be in conflict or at war with anyone because I want to save my energy for the football pitch. I want to save my energy for training. Yeah. So...
And I think as well, there was the name of the book goes away from me. It might be 7 Habits. I can't remember, but there was a quote in one of the books that I read.
Is it the 7 Habits of
highly effective people?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I think it was from that. I can't remember, but there was a quote that fucking jumped out to me, and it was like, wow, and it was, he who angers you controls you. Yeah. And when I read that, I was like, fucking hell, like, everyone's pissing me off just now. Like, everyone I could walk past somebody in the street and it'd fucking piss me off. For the next 10 minutes, I'll be thinking that fucker's pissed me off because of the way he's walking. So it was like, my whole life I was just controlled by, obviously, my emotions and how I was dealing with them. So then, like you say, as I eventually started to understand that and started like looking at it from a different angle, it fucking helped me massively.
So would you say they were your turning point, like listening to different things in the car and getting different references and then taking them on and learning and going, do you know what, I'll try that. Oh, that makes me feel better. I'll try that. That makes me feel better.
I think a massive thing for it is, so I think you've got to be able to speak to someone who knows how to speak to you. So for me as well, a big thing was speaking to you. For me, you probably don't know that, but when I remember our first conversation, and at the time I was just like, I'm depressed, and you were like,
I remember it. I was just thinking back then. I remember it. I was sitting in David Lloyd's. I remember it now. Go on.
And you like you just went, right, so what's making you depressed? And I was like, well, I'm fucking depressed. And then you went, no, you can't just be depressed. There's something that triggers you to be depressed, or something that triggers you to feel that way. And you started getting into it a little bit, and I was like, fucking, it made me think of it differently in a way that, no, you can't just be depressed. It's just you just throw a cloak over it all. You're
just a
depressed.
general term.
Yeah.
No one ever goes around saying, I'm really happy. I'm always happy. Ever. No one's ever been diagnosed with happiness. Ever. It's weird that. But people diagnose themselves with anxiety and depression all the time. I'm like, no, there's something that's causing you. There is something that's causing you to be depressed. What is it?
But that first conversation, I don't know if you realise how important that was for me. When you said them, it was like 4 or 5 questions you fucking put to me.
Yeah.
And you stumped me. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And it made my fucking brain start thinking again. It was like, slowly but surely, that made me look into it more, and it made me think more. And then obviously I would bombard you with fucking phone calls.
That's cool,
you
mate.
Were like,
mate.
oh, for fuck's sake.
I was like, no, mate. I'm glad I can. Like, I'm really pleased. I didn't realise how much it helps. Like, I'm always trying to help people because the way I see it, like I went through the shit and I kept everything in. And if there was someone there was people I could have talked to, but I didn't. Same thing. Mask. And I'm like, if I can stop someone feeling the same way I felt, I help someone, then you can pass that on, and they can pass that on, and the world gets better.
Yeah.
The world becomes a better place, and especially like being mates, you always help. People always want to help you out, and that's what you don't understand. You're like, I'm going to burden someone, but the reason listen, people, right? They're struggling with their own problems, and if you listen to them, they're like, I can help this person. I can forget about my shit. Like I can deal with your shit and I can help you. And you know what? When you do, but the thing is, people don't realise, when you feel better instantly, the best thing to make yourself feel better is to do something for someone else.
Yeah.
Help someone else. They listen to you. You help someone else. You feel better. Like, I can openly chat. Like, we can have a conversation. Like, the other week in the car, we chatted. I was like, we need to record this. What? We need to get a podcast going because this should be recorded. It's because, like, it does help me as well. Like, it helps me speaking and being open, and it helps me with my mental health. And there's such a stigmatism about the word mental health. You have physical health, mental health, physical health. It doesn't matter. It's not a problem. Yeah. And that's what helps me. I can speak to Scott. I can speak to my mates. I can just open up. And then, like, I instantly feel better, and I've got shit off my chest too. Yeah. So, and the whole point is, like, I've been a coach for ages, and coaching is just questions. That's all it is. Rather than just going a blanket, as you said, a blanket term over it. What? I'm depressed. What about what?
Yeah.
But the thing is, we throw out these general terms, everything. But
that's a big thing, though. It's like if I hadn't spoke to you, someone who, like, obviously we've known each other for 10 years now, 11 years, maybe 12 years. Yeah, a long time. So known you for a while. I've known what you've done. When I spoke to you, I knew the way that you are, you would get me. Yeah. Whereas the therapist I was seeing didn't know me, didn't know who I was, you know, and so he couldn't really fucking get me. And it's not his fault.
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, sportsmen were quite fucked up.
Yeah.
So I think it's massive if you get to speak to someone who's able to understand who you are and be able to prod the right bits, the right questions to you.
But it is uncomfortable. Like, it is uncomfortable when you question.
Fuck me, it is.
You're like, oh, and you feel your stomach squirmy. You're like, no, I don't want to go into this. And you're trying.
No, bottom lip starts fucking quivering. You're
like, yeah. It does. But people don't understand. Like, I get people to, like, one of my mates, Ed, who I speak to. He does it to me, and he questions me all the time. And I'm like, this, and he's like, why do you believe that? And I'm like, never thought of that. Why do I believe that? But he's questioning me. He's like, you need to change your belief system. I'm like, yeah, fucking, I do. I do. But the whole point is I'm always learning. I don't know it all. No one knows everything. Like, you're just constantly learning and learning and learning. And the whole point is, as you've gone through, you've started your journey and you hit the shit and then you've started learning. Now I bet you give back too, right?
Like, I now have probably spoke to, I would say, at least 4 players who I've recognised that they're struggling, and I've tried to help them as much as I can. And for me, that, like you say, fucking hell, that's better than sex, man. It's like, it is, it honestly is, when you can help someone who is fucking struggling, Jesus Christ, it makes you feel on top of the world.
Because as you said, you recognise it. I don't name the name, but you said there was a manager you had, and you recognised that he was struggling. Do you want to just tell the story of that, but without saying names?
Yeah, no, I just could just fucking see it, and I thought, just the way he was, how he was acting, and I had seen him before, and he wasn't really like that, and then I'd seen him now, and I was like, nah. So and the thing with me now is like, I'm happy to open up about this now. So whereas I've not come out publicly really and like said I was fucked, yeah. When I've spoke to individuals, who I think are struggling, I'll fucking start by like having a conversation with them. How's things? Like, because I used to be fucked.
Yeah.
And I'd tell my story and it would make them feel comfortable.
Of course, yeah.
So I'd be by telling my story, it'd make them feel like, fucking hell, I'll be able to speak. And it was like that, and I sat down with him and I just said, like, obviously, like, you know how I am, lively and bubbly. But when I'm serious, I'm fucking serious. Yeah. And I sat down, nobody else was there, and I went, are you fucking all right? And he looked at me and went, of course I'm fucking all right. And I was like, look, are you all right? Because I've went through this previously. This was my bang, bang, bang. Told him a bit of the story. And then he just opened up and he was like, I fucking suffer with anxiety really bad. And it made sense because everything was fucking 100 mile an hour, and it was like, and you could feel it within the team as well. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything was, because obviously that's your leader.
Yeah. And it passes on as well.
Of course. And then obviously he went on to say he's getting help, and which was brilliant. So at least he was opening up to someone.
But as I said, as you tell your story, right? Because now you've opened up to individual. This might be the first time that people hear it, like. But as you tell it, it depowers it. It's not an issue anymore. When you don't say anything, it's this big, big problem. And as you tell it, and tell it, it's like, it's really not that big a deal. Like, what was I worried about? And that's why I tell my story all the time. I'm like, listen, I had a meltdown. My mate was ill, and I had to wipe his ass. I had to feed him, and then my mum got and I had this breakdown in the hotel room, and I was taking it out on everyone. I was angry. Why do I tell people that? And people are like, oh my God, he's like me.
Yeah.
Like, he's like me. And then they feel like people can relate to me because I've been through it. And I can talk about it now. And I've talked about it on stage in front of, like, 1,000 people. And it's really not that big a deal. It's not that, like, and people don't realise that. Like, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Everyone's going to judge me. They're like, oh, my God. Like, they actually respect you more. And it's a massive strength for you to say it. And then people come to you. And then you become more of a leader.
Yeah. I found that, although when you're talking about like talking to people, I think, to be fair, Moose, like, we've shared the car the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And fuck me, he's been like my dear Deirdre.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, and fucking bless him, man. He just took it all. And then it came to a point as well where you're like, wait a minute, fucking get a grip of yourself here. Like, you know how to deal with this. You know how to fucking be. You know how to be fucking happy. Just fucking go through them questions every time.
Yeah, every time.
And fucking, you know that then everything will fucking fall into place and you'll be good. Like, you know how to make yourself happy. You know how to fucking be. But I think speaking to one person would be harder than speaking to 1,000. Honestly, because when it's like intimate, and like you're telling one person, because it's going to be usually, let's be honest, it's going to be usually someone who you know and is close to you. Yeah. And I think that's fucking difficult, because if you're doing it in front of 1,000 strangers, you're more likely never going to see them again.
No.
So I wouldn't have any problem in speaking to 10,000 people.
Now, it's different when, that first time, yeah.
But that 100%. First conversation was fucking brutal.
Did you build it up in your head? Or did you just come out of it?
It took me 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months to just fucking be able to say it to my best mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Who then didn't have a fucking clue what was going on for years. He didn't realise that the fact that I'd ignored these calls for maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, he just thought, oh, he's busy with the kids. Oh, fucking whatever, we'll get on. We'll catch up soon. Do you know what I mean? And then, but this is another thing for me, because when you're telling people, you don't want them to feel bad. You don't want them to go, oh, fuck's sake, I'm gutted I didn't fucking see the signs and blah blah. People don't realise you become a professional fucking mask wearer.
But we all are. We're all liars. We all wear it. We're born like, that's why you have to do lie detector tests. Like we're from when you're young, like your kids, they lie.
Yeah.
They lie. And
I fucking know.
Yeah, but the kids lie to you, and they become so good at it, and you can mask it. It's easy. It's very hard to tell a lie. Hence why when you go and get interrogated, that you can't tell a lie. You can't go, well, that's a lie. Like there's small signs, but no one goes, that's definitely a lie. That's definitely a lie. That's definitely a lie. No one knows, because we're so good at it, because we lie all the time.
Yeah.
Like the question, I'm like, we lie to ourselves. We lie to ourselves first, and then we lie to others. Like everyone's a liar. Like I'm full of shit. Like I'm full of shit. I'm a liar. Scott's a liar. If you're listening, you're full of shit too. And that's just the way it is. We'll tell white lies. We mask things. Are you okay? Every morning I walk into the gym. How are you? This is going on. Yeah, I'm good.
That's the one. That's the biggest one, isn't it? Like every day. How are you? You walk into, well, obviously in football. Morning, how are you? Yeah, fucking flying, loving life.
I had someone the other day though. It was really, really interesting. So I went, "You alright?" Like I haven't seen for ages. Walking like, "How are you?" And he went, "Oh, I'm not too good." I was like, "Oh, what? Why not?" Anyway, I just wanted to see your reaction. Like most people just walk by when I say that. Because people were expecting the response of, "Yeah, I'm good," and they just walk by. And he went, "No, I'm not good." And I was like, "Oh, really? What's wrong? Tell me." And you're the first person who's ever said that. He was just testing me.
That's brilliant.
That's why, like, I listened to in Jerry Barton's book, and he'd be like, so in Jerry Barton, like, who, if anyone is listening, you get Jerry Barton on. I really want him on. The reason why is because he just tells it how it is. There's no fluff, no bullshit. And someone says, "How are you?" It'd say, "Do you know what? I'm not great. Do you know what? I'm not that good today." Like, rather than going, "Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good." And it's just easy. Like, I'm going to see people, like when I walk into David Lloyd's, when I go to the gym, one time I'm going to go, like, do you know what? I'm really bad. Like, I'm really awful. Just to see what people don't expect it. What? That's not what you're supposed to say. I'm really bad. You're really bad. Oh my God, what do I do?
Yeah. But I think that is another thing, although we're talking about like coming out and speaking, it's like obviously just educating everyone really on how to deal with something like that as well. Like if someone close to you turns around and says, "I'm fucking struggling," how do you deal with that? Do you know what I mean? You don't fucking then try and sympathise with them and stuff. Just fucking, I think if people know just to be an ear, be that shoulder to cry on, be that fucking that person that somebody can go to at the minute. Yeah,
because like we always say, right, and I'd say this, I'm like, so I'll be honest, I've never suffered with anxiety. And to be fair, I'm very well trained. I'm very well trained. I am, but the reason is because I'm trained and I do stuff every day. I work on myself every day. That sounds wrong, but I do work. But I do mental work on myself every day to prevent it happening, right?
Yeah.
And people are like, when people say, listen, I understand what you're going through, I'm like, people don't understand what you're going through. They never understand what you're going through because they're not you. Like, they can appreciate how it feels, like, they can appreciate, but they never understand it. Like, when people say that I've got anxiety, and and they go, oh, you'll never understand, I'm like, you're right, you don't understand how I'm feeling. I'm like, I don't. I don't know how you... I'll be honest, 100% honest, I don't understand how you're feeling. Because I don't know what your anxiety feels like. I'm not you. I can appreciate that. Listen, I've got anxious when I did the boxing and I was going to get punched in the face 100 times a night. I felt anxious. I can appreciate that I was anxious then, and I was fighting like in a ring, like in a circle, and I had these 100-kilo geezers like coming in 30 seconds at a time, 6 of them trying to punch my head in. That made me feel anxious. But I can appreciate how anxiety feels, but I can't understand. Listen, I don't understand you because I'm not you. Try and tell me what you're going through, and I can and try and get it a bit more.
Yeah.
Like and I'll just listen, but I'm a coach, so I can ask the questions because I'm trained in this. This is what I do. But if someone comes to you and they say, I'm struggling, just listen, and that'll make people feel, it's just the offload.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a weight's been lifted off your shoulders.
And it's like, if someone entrusts you with like opening up to you with something like this, don't underestimate how powerful that is and how powerful you can be for that person by just fucking listening. It's a big thing because it can go either way for the person, I think. So there was one person I spoke to, I'm not going to name names, and I sort of tried to say without saying it, if you know what I mean. I was like, oh, and this was in football, and I was like, I was coming back from surgery and I was fucking training 4 times a day, and I was a newborn baby, and I was like, oh, listen, I'm fucking not really good at the minute. Like, my mum was really ill and blah blah blah, and it was like, oh, don't worry, you'll be fine. And that set me back. Yeah. Because that was like, I thought I could trust that person to open up to them. And when that person like said it like that, it was like, fuck, I can't really speak to him about this. I've got to just deal with this. So if someone comes up to you and opens up to you, just fucking listen. Yeah.
That's great advice. That is really good advice. Just listen and be there for them. Be present. Don't look at your phone. Check Instagram and Facebook. I've seen that actually happen, no lie. Someone's talking to someone, they're trying to do that, and then they've started going, oh no, I've just got a text or a WhatsApp or something. I'll be with you in a minute. Be actually present. Like, get the distractions away and listen. Because it is big, and you don't realise the impact that it will have on someone's life. And then the knock-on effects afterwards. It's not just that one thing. It's a waterfall effect and cascades. Like, you'll pass it on, you'll pass it on, you'll pass it on, you'll pass it on. This, and it feels like you have to give back. Someone's given to me, you feel like you give back. That's just a rule of reciprocation. That's how it works. Yeah. Hence why Scott gives back now. I can't say what he gives back, but I always have this question: if you went back to the start of your career, right? You can phone yourself. So you can phone yourself. You can have 2 minutes to give yourself a talking to and give yourself advice. What do you say?
When I first moved to England, I would guarantee say to myself, you know fuck all. Listen to people who give you advice and fucking take it on board. That is basically all I would say to myself. Because when you're younger, you think, obviously, you make some fucking shit decisions. And you think, at that time, I thought I was fucking going to be playing in the Premier League and I was going to be blah, blah, blah. And I had fucking good experienced pros fucking trying to help me. And they were saying, listen, just relax, don't do this. Do this and do this. And deep down, I was going, yeah. The next week, I'd go out and do what I wanted to do. Yeah. And there's a reason that those lads that I played with then were in the Premier League nearly their whole career. And they were playing till they're nearly 40. Yeah. Like in the Championship. Do you know what I mean? And I just wish I could go back and say to myself, you actually don't know a fucking thing.
Mate, if you say that, have you seen? I got shown a Snapchat from a Coventry City player yesterday. Don't know if you've seen it.
No.
So he's away in Marbella, and he's hammering the Coventry City fans with snooze up his lip, pissed, talking about like his pockets being heavy with money, and I'm like, oh dear, I'll send you it. He's got to come on. If you listen to this, you got to come on. But the whole point is, if you listen to the whole point of this podcast, the whole point of this is, if you're a younger player, even if you're a player or not a player, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It don't make any difference. The reason I've got more experienced pros on is because they've gone through it. They've gone through the shit. They've as I said, we've had Gilberto Silva, Tom Heaton. Like they've been through it. Gilberto's finished. Tom's older.
No, he's Brazilian.
It's true, he is Brazilian, but they've been through the end. They're at the end, so they've got the experience. And I'm like, what question would you ask yourself? Because younger players are listening to this, and they'll be the same as you. Like, listen, I'm gonna make it. Don't like ego, and it can all come crashing down in an instant like that, and you're done.
So I done some, because obviously, even still, at my age and whatever, I can still have a perception of stuff. Some people, because it's normal, it's human to fucking have perceptions.
100% human. You have to judge. People are like, you shouldn't judge. I'm like, you have to judge. But here you go. Here's one for you, right? People go, they don't judge. So again, I question, right? I question them. They're like, I don't judge anyone. All right, okay. I'm gonna give you a scenario, right? You're walking. It's late at night. It's dark. Okay. Behind you, the first scenario. Behind you is a man with a hoodie on, looks shifty, and he's walking fast. Do you cross the road or walk faster? Second one, there's a man with a suitcase and a suit, looks pretty smart. Do you judge that person, yes or no?
100% you do.
So yeah, of course you do. Our human instinct is this. Like, listen, well, if we weren't part of the group, but people don't realise we're still going through. The reason we have anxiety now and all these emotions and stuff is we've still got the same stuff that we had like tens of thousands of years ago, where we had to be fearful of a tiger coming round the corner. If you weren't part of the group, you were dead. If you weren't part of the tribe, you were out. But we still have that instinct in us, but there's no tigers anymore. The biggest threats to us are like really quite small, but it's still the same thing. It's still the same hormones. There's no difference. People don't get that, and you have to judge, because you do have to judge. Like, you judge yourself. If you judge yourself, you have to judge other people. And it's about dropping judgment. Like, your perception will be there. It's about, can I drop that perception of them and have an open mind?
Yeah. So I'd done some training during the week there with someone who plays in the Premier League, and perception was he's going to be fucking whatever. Not a great perception to start with. Mm-hmm. And then after 5 minutes of meeting him, he's got the exact same beliefs as me, speaks exactly how I would speak, like, just says everything that I would say, and I'm like, why the fuck did I think that way? Like, how?
So he's got a Scottish accent and he's got a potty mouth.
He's a lovely gentleman. No, but just in terms of, like, we're talking about younger pros now, even just the younger generation. I mean, I'm fucking sounding like the T-Rex here, but the younger generation, like, obviously, when I was younger, I didn't really have social media and stuff, like, as it was now.
No.
So when you think it like that, these younger pros now, and I had this conversation, I have it quite a lot. We had it the other week there. Mm-hmm. I do believe it's harder for them, because there's not just the pressure of being a football player, where I think that's now shifted as there's this perception that they've got to portray this lifestyle on social media, and that's like a fucking job for some of them, a full-time fucking job. Like, when to post this fucking picture, what fucking hashtags to use, and all this bollocks. And I do feel a bit for like younger players. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't stop me from fucking abusing them, but I do feel for them because it's a different genre now, and it's the way like society's going into it.
Yeah.
So, in essence, for younger players, like that lad you're saying from Coventry, when I was fucking his age, I didn't have to worry about that.
No.
My worry was like what used to happen with me was, Scott Shearer was at the fucking kebab van, like trying to start a fight with somebody again on like the chat forums. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a fucking somebody got a video, there you go, bang, and it's everywhere, and it's never, you can't ever delete it because it's out there. So I do feel for a lot of them now, because it's happened to one of your lads last year with his mates, pissing about with his mate, close mates, gets his cock out in the street, blah blah blah. His mate then sends it to a group in WhatsApp. Look at this, blah blah. He then sends it on, and it fucking goes viral, and it ends up being in the press. And then his family had to fucking, and like, you know, we had to have a really good chat with him and stuff, and like just let him know that he's done nothing wrong. Do you know what I mean? And it was, so I do feel for like the younger players now. I really do, because they can't just be themselves when they go out.
No, that's why people. That's why they're gonna.
That's why they don't go out.
Yeah, you
a
can't.
A lot of them don't fucking go out because it's like.
Well, you're gonna be posted on social media. You're gonna get maybe abused. Like, you're gonna have photos taken with you. You're gonna be pestered the whole time.
But look at Pickford.
Yeah, that's the example I give. Yeah, like
when
he
he went out. Once they go to the pub. He's just a normal young fucking lad. This geezer think he's got the right to fucking... Like, if that guy said it to someone else in the pub, was abusing someone else like that in the pub, he'd have get sparked out earlier.
Yeah. But he's just accepted.
100%.
He's just got to take it.
Oh, you earn this much. I pay your wages.
Yeah.
Remember that shout? So, yeah. I do feel for them in a way because of the way it is, but... And see all that bollocks where you say you're a professional, you need to like let that go and like not take any notice of it. We're fucking human beings. We're not professional. We're not professional footballers when we're out having a beer. We're human beings.
Yeah, who run an emotion.
Yeah, and if I'm drunk, and someone thinks they can come out and poke the finger at me and say I'm shit, this and that, I'm going to react.
Yeah. They want you to react, though. People want you to. That's the whole point. They got what they wanted. They wanted a reaction, so they could film it.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. They can film it then.
Stupid. It is mad. It is mad. But yeah, mate. I just want to say.
So to all the younger players that I've abused in the last however many years, I do have some sympathy for you. But if you put stupid fucking Instagram posts on, I think you're still twats.
Fair comment, mate. Fair comment. Right, mate, I just want to say thanks for, like, we got the 90-second game in a minute, but I just want to say thanks for opening out and being so honest. Like, it does take a certain person to come out and tell the truth rather than the fluffy, like, the interviews that I hear and I'm like, I'd love to get, like, if you're listening and you want to employ me for the after interviews, I'm more than willing to do it. Rather than this, how are you doing? Yeah, it's great, good game, and yeah, no, rubbish. Get me on Sky. Get me on Sky. We'll go deeper. How do you really feel about that, though? But is that true? I'm just throwing that one out all the time.
You'll cost people a fortune in fines.
I know, mate. I know, but it'd be good TV.
Oh, class.
Right, so we're gonna play Getting to Know You now. Okay, 90 seconds. You answer as many questions as you can, as quick as possible. I might have to chuck some away because I've actually taken one out, but I'll ask you at the end. All right? So 90 seconds. You've got 90 seconds. Quick fire questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Starting now. Toilet paper, over or under?
Under.
Ever feigned injury?
No.
Best dish you cook?
Sweet potato and chickpea curry.
Such a veggie. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Night out with the boys or night in with the missus, if you had one?
Well, I've not got a fucking missus, so fucking night out with the boys.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Do you watch Love Island?
No.
Pants or boxers?
Boxers.
Sweet or savoury?
Sweet.
Pineapple on a pizza, yes or no?
Fuck you. No chance.
You're on death row. What meal do you order?
Oh, fuck. Chinese.
With meat?
No, prawns, king prawns. Sweet and sour king prawn balls.
Okay. Ant or deck?
None.
Who's the longest in the shower that you've ever played with?
Oh, Trevor Benjamin.
Have you ever been suspended deliberately?
No.
What's your best feature?
My massive cock.
Kebab or salad?
Veggie kebab.
Do you fancy yourself as an out on pitch player?
Yes.
Best player you've played against?
Against Robbie Keane.
Robbie Keane. Got quite a few in there. Yeah, well, the next one.
Decent.
Here you go. I want to know this one, right? Alcoholic beverage of your choice. What is it?
Oh, Guinness.
Guinness. Cool. And
but that depends on if it's summertime. You know, a little Aperol spritz.
Yeah. Oh, I like them. You're right.
If you're in the house having a meal, a glass of red.
Yeah.
But day out with the boys, it's a Guinness.
Guinness. Cool. And then the extra time question. Okay, which. Like, Grant Hall's got a chance to redeem himself next week because the recording cocked up. So I told him he had no banter. And if you're listening, Grant, you've got nothing about you. So, because he couldn't come up with one. Ready? Give me your best joke.
What do you call an alligator wearing a vest?
I don't know.
An investigator.
Very good. I wasn't expecting to laugh. That was very good. And it was clean.
Yes.
I was like, do I ask him this question? But beforehand, when we started off with the shit in the car and stuff, I was like, it doesn't really make any difference now, does it? threw in a few C-bombs. And I just told someone this morning, do you know what? You should get your kids to listen to this.
Did I throw the C-bombs in?
Yeah.
Oh. Do you know what, right? A funny story.
It's fine. It's only explicit. It's fine.
So obviously, people who know me, right? So people from Scotland, C-bomb's a normal word, right? It's not taken offensively at all. So you can be a good cunt or a bad cunt, right? It's just in how you say it. Yeah.
Isn't everything? Like, if I go, fuck you, and then I'll go, fuck you.
Yeah. So when I joined a club recently, there was this lad, and I'm saying, "Oh, come on, you can't," right? And it's just normal. And then after about 3 weeks of pre-season, he pulled me, and he went, "Got a real problem with you. You don't even know me, and you call me a cunt about 20 times a day." And he proper pulled me up in it, and I tried, and then I explained it all to him. And about 3 weeks later, he came up to me and he said, "Fucking hell, like, I'm getting abused off my mates because all I do is call them cunts now."
Yeah. Oh, we've got this geezer at Astro Tough, and he does the same thing, right? So he's throwing the C-bomb out left, right, and centre. And when the people come in, I'm like, listen, don't take offence. It's just an endearment term to you. And he'd be like, and like, every time. And some people are like he's just called him a.
But why? It's only a word.
Depends.
It's a word.
With everything, it depends what meaning you give it.
But it's still just a word.
Of course. Depends what meaning you give it, doesn't it? So what meaning do you give that word? What meaning do you give that experience you had? What meaning do you give that phone call? What meaning do you give that geezer who said, "You'll be fine, don't worry"? You take a meaning from everything. Yeah.
He's a fucking cunt.
There we go. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
But that's the meaning you take from it. It's up to you. You decide the meaning. What is the meaning of life? Whatever meaning you choose to give it. What's the purpose of life? When I say there is no purpose to life, life has no purpose. It's up to you to decide your purpose. There is no greater thing. It's up to you. You are your world. So your reality revolves around your thoughts and the way you see the world and the way things come at you and what meaning you give it. But people never go deeper into it. That means this. You looked at me like this, so that means this. And you choose it. It's up to you to decide. So that word, you can choose that meaning. He take that as offence. You mean that as like, do you know what, you're alright. I'm going to call you it.
Yeah.
That's the way life works. So yeah, there we go. There's me throwing out my life lessons. What do you mean there's no greater purpose in the world and there is no meaning to life? There is no meaning to life. Sorry to burst your bubble. But if it makes you feel better listening to the podcast, all good. I've done my job. Mate,
excellent.
Thank you for this. We've got 1 hour, 10 minutes.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Nobody's listening to that for another 10 minutes, me and you talking.
They will. Mate, we could go on for ages as well. I've just got to cut it short, as I know we could go on for hours. But people, you'll be surprised, mate. Like, this will massively help people.
I hope so. I really do hope so.
And if you're offended by the language, do you know what they call that? Tough. You know what I mean? It's just, listen, I'm going to go a Love Island quote. It is what it is. I can't believe you don't watch Love Island.
I don't, mate. I'm fucking...
Oh, mate. That's our conversation's gone then. I was going to talk to you after we finished about Love Island and what you thought about the new people.
I hear people talking about it, but...
Do you know why I watch it? I watch it. Well, it is good. But I watch people's body language. Like, for me, it's learning. Like, I'm like using it as learning and reading, like, their emotions, and that's why I watch it. I'm like listening to the way they talk. And do you know what's really good about it? Like, everyone's saying, people don't realise you mould into your environment, right? So like you said, that geezer uses the C-bomb every time. When you're around people, you copy and mimic what they do. So everyone's going around in Love Island going, it is what it is. Is what it is. Is what it is. Mimicking everything that everyone's doing. You mould into your environment. Hence why when you go into football and you're in the changing room, you mould into that environment.
Yeah.
Egos come up, masks come up, and you would use that and learn it and use that as a protection mechanism for you. And you'll be like, this is learn, I'm going to stick with it. So, very interesting. Maybe you should give it a go. But mate, thanks so much for doing this. Appreciate it. Right. Well, I'm going to sign out now. So if you like this podcast, do me a favour, go on iTunes, go on Stitcher, give me a 5-star review. You know, it makes sense. And share this with other people, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Scotty, see you later, mate.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.